Hopefully that works. We're still playing around with the stream. Looks like it. Let's try this. Oh, there we go. Now we got it all set up. All right. So I know we got the Bitcoin white papers. And I know I said the beginning and you're thinking, wow, he really meant the beginning. We got to go back to the beginning. The fundamentals of this document, they ripple through the entire blockchain cryptocurrency space. So we've got to understand the vocabulary of this space, because when we move into other projects, that is the new kid on the block that's going to be the next big to the moon project, do your own researches, read the white paper. You have to start with the white paper if you're going to believe in a product or a project. I'm sorry. And so we can't understand those white papers if we don't understand the principles of this white paper. And so we have to start here. It's the beginning. And, this is a channel for an audience that is going to dip their toes in crypto. So maybe you're a little bit further away. Still a good refresher. But bear with me if you're thinking this is gratuitous and you don't see the point. We will make reference to this document many, many times. And so when we're looking at XRP or Solana, I mean, it's a really, really complex white papers. And if you don't start here, I just don't know if you're going to be able to understand those. So let's jump in. All right. Bitcoin, peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And words are important. There are definitions to words. So when we hear peer-to-peer electronic cash system, cash has its own definition. It's tradable. It's, it's small transactions to large transactions. So that's going to be important because the schisms within the Bitcoin community, they generally stem from that word right there, that cash system. Everything from, Bitcoin Cash. It's named Bitcoin Cash for a reason. It's because originally Bitcoin did not behave like a cash-based financial product, and Bitcoin Cash does perform a little bit more like a cash-based financial product. So that's interesting. Just first word, but I will be going back to that theme again, so it's good to point it out. Okay, abstract. A purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. Digital signatures provide part of the solution, but the main benefits are lost if a trusted third party is still required to prevent double spending. We propose a solution to the double spending problem using a peer-to-peer network. The network timestamps transactions by hashing them into an ongoing chain of hash-based proof of work, forming a record that cannot be changed without redoing the proof of work. The longest chain not only serves as a proof of the sequence of events witnessed, but proof that it came from the largest pool of CPU power. As long as a majority of the CPU power is controlled by nodes that are not cooperating to attack the network, they'll generate the longest chain and outpace attackers. The network itself requires minimal structure. Messages are broadcast on the best effort basis, and nodes can leave and rejoin the network at will, accepting the longest proof of work chain as they were gone. And so these ideas are interesting when we look at forks and that sort of thing. Obviously, some of the most prominent projects, Ethereum, the largest altcoin, its blockchain is not the Genesis blockchain. It's not the longest record. There's Ethereum Classic, which is the longest record. And so when this paper lines out what the project does and then lines out how it goes about doing that, um, that's important to think about, that double spend concept when people talk about it being, um, you know, sensor proof or attack proof. Um, it has a very, very specific structure that enables it to not be manipulated. And beyond that, there's other ways of manipulating which don't necessarily corrupt the structure of the product. But again, if you are one of the Ethereum Classic holdovers, then you're looking at it like they corrupted the system. They moved away from the foundation principles of immutability and in inability to change what has happened on chain. And so, I don't know that you'd necessarily qualify that as a break, but it does violate the principles of the of the project, of what it originally wanted to fulfill, of the goal that it originally wanted to fill. So I think that's worth noting. But anyway, commerce on the internet has come to rely almost exclusively on financial institutions serving as trusted third parties to process electronic payments. While the system works well enough for most transactions, it still suffers from an inherent weakness of the trust-based model. Completely non-reversible transactions are not really possible. Since financial institutions cannot avoid mediating disputes, the cost of mediation increases transaction costs, limiting the minimum practical transaction size and cutting off the possibilities for small casual transactions. And there is a broader cost in the loss of ability to make a non-reversible payment for non-reversible services. With the possibility of reversal, the need for trust spreads. Merchants must be wary of their customers hassling them for more information than they would otherwise need. A certain percentage of fraud is accepted as unavoidable. These cost and payment uncertainties can be avoided in person by using physical currency, but no mechanism exists to make payments over communication channels without a trusted party. And it's interesting because right in the introduction of the Bitcoin white paper, it talks about a lack of reversibility. And right there, I already see a lot of people could maybe look at that and say, well, why would I want that? Why would I, what if I don't like the thing I bought? I want to return it. Well, at the end of the day, that does end up being more of a you problem than a manufacturer. The manufacturer didn't lie to you. The manufacturer didn't deceive you. And yet now the manufacturer has to, or I would say more the seller has to accept the overhead cost of the returns and the reversal of the transaction because you changed your mind or had a change of heart or just didn't like it or that. So beyond the fraud, beyond the lack of trust or more data collection or increased costs that are associated with the reversible transaction that exists in our current infrastructure, the non-reversal solves for all that problems. And, again, it creates new concerns that we have to address, that we have to think about, like, well, I better make sure I like this thing that I'm about to buy, because once I buy it, there is, unless the seller is totally happy just taking it back and give me my money back. If I ask for my money back and they don't want to give me my money back, then it's kind of just it. And I get it. We're used to being able to change our minds, but I think inherent in that is the idea of responsibility, that you have to understand that when you make a choice, there's consequences. And again, it seems like it would be interesting, or there'd be a market for outsourcing that choice altogether, delegating that responsibility to a third party mediator that will make it so that trust can exist and mediate conflict and that sort of thing. So, maybe I wouldn't say maybe, there's certainly a lot of people who would rather that system than the responsibility system. But I also think that even if it was a minority, it's worthwhile to have the choice of responsibility and say, yeah, I understand that the choices I make with this type of payment channel, it's not reversible. I can't change my mind. I can't, if I trust someone that they're going to deliver something and then they don't deliver on that, it sucks that I got scammed, but I got scammed. That's kind of the name of the nature of the beast. And I'm sure there's a lot of centralized exchanges or really prominent institutions or individuals in the crypto space that would like to change that and make it so that there's more reversibility, less responsibility, all those sort of things. But I think when that happens, you get rid of those fundamental principles that made crypto so powerful. So let's keep going. Let's see. Where'd my fireplace go? I had a fireplace going. Oh, this is cool. I can do double screen now on the iPad. That's a nice update. My fire left. I had a fire going though this time. Come on. Oh, all right. So, let's see. What is needed is an electronic payment system based on cryptographic proof instead of trust, allowing for any two willing parties to transact directly with each other without the need for a trusted third party. Transactions that are computationally impractical to reverse would protect sellers from fraud, and the routine escrow mechanisms would easily be implemented to protect buyers. In this paper, we propose a solution to help the double spend problem using a peer-to-peer distributed timestamp server. To generate computational proof of the chronological order of transactions, the system is secure as long as honest nodes collectively control more CPU power than any cooperating group of attacker nodes. Sorry, botched that a little bit. Not used to reading out loud. Okay. Okay. Well, we did page 1. And now, I hope that's enough. I don't think that I want to go through the whole paper in one sitting. That's kind of a lot. And I like to dissect, as I did, the ideas of the paper as I see them. I like to break it down and really talk about what a non-mediated payment channel actually implies. So I think we should stop it right there. And let me get myself right up here. And let me go right there. Perfect. So yeah, that's just a little taste of it. Again, we're going to be experimenting with a lot of different stuff. Maybe I might be actually doing some things inside of a DEX to show you guys what that looks like. Or maybe it's just going to be mostly reading different white papers, looking at old, tried and true projects or new, growing, a lot of potential projects. I'm really excited about the Web3 space and really excited about how that integrates into the creator economy. So there's a lot of interesting stuff we can do there. And I just look forward to going along on the journey with you guys. And so I'm going to try and make content for the person who is one step behind me so that they can get to where I am. And when I step up, then I'll have all the information so they don't have to make the same mistakes as me, and they have a better roadmap, and we all learn and grow together, advance the crypto space. So appreciate it. I think that's me signing off.